For everyone who's selling on Shopify, there's many things that you need to understand regarding sales tax. And Shopify, like Amazon and eBay, is one of the biggest platforms to sell or just about anything. From home decor products to independent clothing brands, Shopify is home to over 500,000 businesses, and for many sellers, features like fraud analysis, abandoned cart recovery are game changers because they simplify e-commerce and make it easy for sellers to focus on other parts of their business. In particular, the report feature, especially the Shopify sales tax report, is a time saver, but it highlights an interesting issue all e-commerce sellers face: tax collection. Collecting sales tax seems small on the surface, but in reality, it's one of the most frustrating parts of selling online. It takes more time to add your products to your store, market them, and then ship them. Yet this one line item on customer invoice is the cause of frustrated emails to customer service support and many sleepless nights. Since it's only been less than a year since e-commerce sellers have been required to collect and remit state sales tax, the confusion around setting up taxes on e-commerce platforms makes total sense. There are a lot of tax rules to keep straight, which makes filing taxes a pain. And to take the confusion out of a tax setup and reporting, this is a guide to help you understand how Shopify sales tax works. The basics of collecting sales tax for your Shopify store. Before we get into the weeds of Shopify sales tax, there are a few tax rules you need to be aware of first. These rules determine how you set up and report your income. Number one, you need a sales tax permit. Economic Nexus is the tax legislation for companies that don't have a physical presence in a state. They sell online. And each state dictates what economic threshold sellers have to reach to qualify for this. In many states, the threshold is $100,000 in sales or 200 transactions. The threshold is set annually, so it's your responsibility to check every year to make sure you comply with the rules. Once you have hit your state's threshold, you have to register for a sales tax permit. Head over to your State Department of Revenue website to review the rules. For example, whether you have to renew your permit once you have it before registering. Different states have different names for sales tax permits, like a tax license or seller's permit, but rest assured, they're all the same thing, and the registration process is pretty much the same regardless of which state you're in. Register your business and business name. If needed, apply through the IRS for an employer identification number or EIN number, and complete the registration form, which usually asks for your business type, business launch date, and your contact info. In most states, it's free to register for a sales tax permit. In other states like Wisconsin and South Carolina, the fee can be as much as $30 or $50. Even if you only sell products online, you still need a sales tax permit. Once you get one for every state you do business in or have some kind of presence in. Or get one for every state you do business in or have some kind of presence in. For example, you might be based in Georgia, but store your inventory in South Carolina. You need a permit for both states. 2. Not all states require you to collect sales tax. Currently, 45 states in DC require e-commerce sellers to collect sales tax under Economic Nexus. What complicates Shopify's sales tax setup is the fact that rates and rules vary from state to state. For example, something as simple as whether you can charge tax on shipping or whether you have to renew your sales tax number varies between states, cities, counties, and districts. And you can use this information to verify the tax rate Shopify uses. Number 3, remittance frequency differs by state. Tax remittance, which is the process of taking the sales tax you collect and paying it to the IRS, also differs state by state. Once you've registered for a sales tax permit, the taxes you collect have to be paid monthly, quarterly, or annually. The state will explain what applies to you and your business. Sales tax is considered a pass-through tax, and payment frequency depends on each state. Number 4, there are 2 kinds of sales tax. The states that you operate in will also tell you whether you have to calculate taxes on a destination basis or an origin basis, and here's how they work. Destination basis is when Shopify sales tax is calculated based on where each of your customers is located. If you have Nexus in an origin-based state like Ohio and you sell products to a customer in Utah, sales tax is based on Ohio tax rate. Origin basis. Shopify sales tax is calculated based on where you're located. If you're in a destination-based state like Michigan and sell products to a customer in Maine, sales tax is based on Maine's tax rates. This is a lot of information to keep up with, but Shopify takes a lot of the guesswork out for setting up and collecting sales tax, and this way you have confidence that you're collecting sales tax both legally and correctly. And how to set up taxes for your Shopify store. Before you start collecting Shopify sales tax, you need to set them up. This is probably the most time-consuming step in setting up your store, since there are so many variables to keep straight that it can be confusing. Here's a simplified version of how to get started. Step 1, create shipping zones. This specifies where in the world you can sell your products. Since states and cities have their own tax rates create a shipping zone for each one. This is especially useful if you're in a destination-based state and taxes calculated based on customer location. Create shipping zones, click on Settings and then Shipping. In the Shipping Zone section, click on Add Shipping Zone. Give your zone a name, for example, the country or region name, and then add in countries and add all the countries that you want to include in the shipping zone. Step 2, set tax rates. Set up the tax rate to account for all the shipping zones you have created. Shopify sales tax rates can be set up automatically to make this process less confusing. Go to Settings and then General and set your address based on your Nexus. Then go to Settings and Taxes and add in tax rates. Set these taxes to calculate automatically so that Shopify manages the calculation of sales tax based on state, county, and local tax rules. It's worth reviewing these figures annually to make sure Shopify sales tax is calculated using the most up-to-date rates. Remember, your economic nexus depends on where you have some kind of physical presence, since as of June 2018, all e-commerce sellers are required to collect sales tax. With Shopify, you can set up sales tax to calculate based on a destination basis or an origin basis. Step 3, set tax exemptions. You can also set tax rates to calculate manually if there are certain products that are exempt from taxes, like clothing in some state. To set up tax exemptions, you have to first create a product collection for it to apply to. For example, create a collection for your clothing products, and all products in the group will get the exemption. To create a collection, click on Products and then Collection, and click on Create Collection, and give the collection a name and save it. Next, go to Settings and then Taxes, and click on the countries listed, which tells Shopify where the exemption should apply. Then click Tax Overrides in the new window, and add a tax override and choose a collection from the drop-down menu. And finally, choose a location the exemption applies to and the rate, then click on Add Override. Automation to simplify sales tax tracking. Shopify doesn't remit taxes on behalf of the sellers. It's your responsibility to know how much you owe, when to pay, and how. The good news is, since payments are processed through Shopify's platform, you have access to reports that make tax time less of a hassle, especially if you file frequently throughout the year. There are a number of sales reports you have access to. For example, the tax filing report shows you how much sales tax you have collected during specific timeframes, whether you file your taxes monthly, quarterly, or annually. This report can be customized to show you what you need. As you can see from the example, the tax report shows you which countries and regions you collected sales tax from, plus the rate and total amount. Every time there's a transaction processed from your store, this report automatically updates to track your Shopify sales tax today. What's also great about this report is it takes into account the destination basis and origin basis you set up when you created shipping zones. If you're using Shopify's automatic tax rate calculator, which is updated regularly, you have confidence that the values in this report are accurate. And you simply export the data from this report and send it to your accountant to file a tax time. Plugins for monitoring sales tax selection. Since calculating sales tax can get complicated, a plugin takes the manual work out of it and automates monitoring state sales tax so that you are sure you're collecting the right amount. So the last thing you want to do is have to pay out of pocket because you didn't collect enough tax during your reporting period. Using Shopify integrated plugins like TaxStar, Avalara, and Quaderno to simplify your sales tax responsibilities and take advantages of features like autofilling your returns. TaxStar. Since tax rates vary by states and cities, TaxStar helps you track your charging to make sure you're in compliance. TaxStar helps you track what you are charging to make sure you're in compliance. Shopify helps you set up and collect sales tax, but there are not detailed enough reports that help you file your taxes automatically. TaxStar helps with this step by creating detailed reports that show you what tax was charged for each state and country you sell in. This saves you hours of tax prep time and ensures your filings are accurate. Avalara. Filing taxes for your business can be a stressful time. Avalara helps by automating the preparation and filing process. For example, it tracks when your sales were made and automatically adds them to reports based on your filing requirements. If you remit sales tax monthly or quarterly, these reports save you hours of digging through your transactions to separate and organize the sales tax you have collected. Quaderno is another tool designed to help you during tax time. It's kind of like the personal accountant that manages your invoicing and bookkeeping so that you're always in compliance with tax laws and have one less thing to worry about when you file your taxes. Since every seller is different, Quaderno is completely customizable so that you can set it up based on your unique needs, like letting customers check their billing history versus you sending this info out every time customers ask. And best practices for setting up Shopify sales tax. Once you have set up taxes and have a reporting and filing system in place, there are still a few best practices to keep in mind to ensure you are following the rules of the states and cities you sell in. And don't forget, managing the customer experience is part of managing your sales tax as well. Setting up your shop properly takes time and accuracy. The customers need to have a seamless experience so they come back again. Include a physical location for your store. Even if you only sell products online, Shopify requires this information to help with destination basis and origin basis tax calculations. Confirm which forms you need to file your taxes. Ask your state government once you have your sales tax permit. Forms differ based on whether you're a sole proprietor, partnership, or corporation. Add sales tax as a separate line item at checkout to make it clear to customers that they have been charged. Also, if your state requires it, charge tax on shipping. Set up tax overrides to only collect tax on taxable items. For example, New York considers clothing sold for less than $110 non-taxable. Use robust software to scale your business. Avalara Ava Tax is available to sellers in the Shopify Plus plan and is more powerful than Shopify's built-in tax tracking and calculation feature. It offers real-time reporting using tax rates from over 12,000 taxing jurisdictions and makes it easy to collect VAT, value-added tax, from customers in EU countries. Making sense of Shopify sales tax. It takes a little time to set up sales tax in Shopify properly, but hopefully we have made the process easier to understand. And taxes are one of the most important parts of doing business, so take some time to understand how they work in your state and other states and countries you sell in. This way you can focus on the parts of your business that you excel in and add value to your customer experience.